Welcome to the Silent Thinking Podcast, a space to slow down, breathe, and reconnect. Today, I'm reading from Walking the Path, A Leader's Journey by Dr. Keith McNally, a reflective story about the inner journey of leadership. Just listen and let the stillness support you. The story continues. Once more, John led his team along the trail through the dense forest. Within an hour, the path leveled off. Their very legs no longer had to make the climb up, but the path led straight for a time before bending around the side of the mountain. They went one more mile before resting. John was becoming more concerned about their water supply. Bessie alone consumed a great deal each day. John was also concerned with everyone's emotional state. He knew that everyone's spirits were low. He needed a miracle. He needed that miracle now. Thirsty, hungry, and tired, the three of them dropped their packs. Their legs burned and ached. Never before had they felt such exhaustion. It was as if a silent wave washed over them, sucking their energy away. Even Benji needed words of encouragement. John took out the bowls to give water to the animals. "Watch the animals," John said. "I'm going to head into the trail and look for the stream. The four of you rest." "Do you think that's a good idea?" Liz asked. "Probably not," John said. "But the four of you can go much further without rest, and we need water. I'm surprised we have not reached the stream by now. It can't be far off. Let me look and see what the path leads us to for the next mile or so. Stay here. I'll be back in an hour, whether I find water or not." The girls nodded their heads in agreement. "Liz, keep your bow handy," John added. "We haven't seen anything so far, but if there are animals out there, they've probably seen us. At least, they smelled us. They've definitely heard us. But don't kill anything unless you absolutely have to." Liz reached for her bow. Before John left, he gave the girls one more piece of instruction. "Don't leave the path," John said. "If you have to use the bathroom, don't go far. Make sure you can see each other. Safety is in numbers here. Remember that?" With bow and water bottle, John walked around the bend up ahead. The girls were left alone. Without John, they felt alone and to some degree helpless. His presence made them feel safe in this foreign land. Now they had to fend for themselves, whatever that may mean. John used what energy had left to sprint as often as he could along the path. He knew that time was crucial. They needed water and rest. They also needed food. His thought was to find a stream. There they could make camp and wait to see what types of animals came to drink. With any luck, they might have a good dinner tonight. Another 30 minutes passed before John stopped to rest a bit. As he did so, he caught sight of a small fox ahead of him and higher up on the mountain. Even with the dense forest, he could make out the shape of the lone fox. Surely it saw me, John thought, but the fox made no movement toward him. In fact, the fox was traveling in the same direction as the path, west, and around the bend. He watched as the fox trotted away. Staying on the path, John followed in the same direction, keeping a little distance between him and the animal. Around another bend to the right, then slowly back to the left. John maintained a safe distance, but could still see the fox ahead. Without warning, the fox sprinted forward. Instinctively, John quickened his pace to keep an eye on the animal. As he did so, he heard what he had been praying to hear for some time, the sound of flowing water. Now racing down the path, John ran toward the sound. When the downward flowing stream was in eyesight, John slowed his pace to a walk. If animals were around, he knew they might hear him. They could probably smell him, but he did not want to be seen just yet. Slowly moving forward and looking north and south as he went, John could not spot any other animal. In fact, for a time he lost sight of the fox until he came to the stream. Slowly he knelt down and placed his dirty hand in the water. It was cold but refreshing. Gently placing his bow down, he reached for his water bottle and filled it. After drinking half the bottle, he filled it again. Now that he found what he was looking for, he had to get back to the girls. The cool water lifted his spirits enough to put energy back into his legs. He looked for the fox again and with a smile said thanks. Then John turned back down the path and ran. When he was within a quarter mile of where he thought the girls should be, he could hear the sound of Benji barking. The sound made his heart skip a beat. There was some sort of trouble ahead. No good deed goes unpunished, he thought. John continued to run until he came across two doe running his way, one much larger than the other, but both running at a good pace. He dodged both of them by hopping off the path to his right. He found quick cover behind a tree and watched the two continue down the path. Back on the trail, he called out to the girls. Walking briskly down the path toward the sound of Benji barking, he saw a giant buck lay dead on the path. Liz, Penny, and Benji ran up to John when they saw him. Bessie was tied to a tree north of the trail. What happened? Was John's obvious question. Truly, though, he saw the arrow stick out of the deer's neck. Liz made good aim. Are you two okay? John asked quickly. Yeah, they said in unison. As soon as I heard Benji, I started running. John said, I'm glad you're okay, but we need to move out of here. What do you mean? They said. What's going on? Thoughts raced through John's head. This buck was the lead of the herd. That meant more were coming, maybe in a day or so. He also thought about the fox. Without hesitation, though, he held out his bottle of water now cold to the touch. He gave the girls some time to drink as they sat by the gear of the path. He told them about the water stream. He also mentioned the fox. At first, he was angry at Liz for killing the deer. He did not want to upset the yearly migration of these animals. He would have been wrong for doing so. Although Liz acted in defense, they had no right to cause any problems. This was how the deer survived. He could only hope that the two doe would make it to the other side alive. This may actually be to our advantage, John said. The other wild animals may have a feast while we hide. I don't know. At any rate, we need to be more careful moving forward. If there's one fox, there are probably more, but not too many more. We just need to be careful. He told them his plans for camping somewhere by the stream for a few days. They would have water to drink and hopefully food to eat. They could kill a fox or two, and that would last them for a while. That would also give them time to think of what to do next. John gave everyone some time to recover from the experience. They were still weary from the hike, and now their emotions were on overdrive given the confrontation with the deer. Let's get off the trail a bit, John said. We can rest a while, but not too long. The girls did not argue. With their gear, they made a small resting spot just north of the trail, some 50 yards into the woods. They could still see the path from where they were, but it would not be obvious to any creature that would have a peek at what was lying dead on the ground. Bessie had enough room to walk around, but Liz kept her close by, tied to a tree. Since they started, she became attached to Bessie and kept a close eye on her. After an hour, he coaxed the girls to ready themselves for a 30-minute walk up the path to the stream. With effort, the girls shouldered their packs, made their way back to the trail, and followed John as they walked west. Their spirits lifted as they saw the water. If they had the strength, they would have run to the water's edge. Still, even as they could, they made their way, dropped their packs, and drank to their fill. As they did so, John scanned the area for any moving creature. He also looked for what could be a good place to set up a camp. If a fox was their only menace, they would be good. Even so, he thought to make a camp with minimal open area around them. That meant finding a spot with some cover. Even a cave of some sort would be good. But he was not ready to leave the girls alone again. At least not right away. He would have to think quickly so they could feel safe and get the rest they needed. As an afterthought, he would go back to the deer for a few steaks. That would be good for a couple of days. Lucky enough, he found a heavily forested spot north of the trail. With enough trees for cover, they could make camp safely. Then John could go back for some meat. He did so, feeling good that the girls would be safe while he was away. In a few hours he returned. Liz had started a small fire, and they heated up some water for tea. This raised their spirits a great deal, and with some fresh venison, they ate well that evening. As the day slowly faded away, they kept the campfire burning. The venison offered a much favored change to the dried meats they carried with them. John brought back a few days' worth of steak. They savored their dinner and kept warm with a cup of tea. Liz remembered the last time she drank tea with John's mother the week before they left. Liz wondered what John's mother was doing now. Was she worried? Was she looking for her son? Who knew? Liz thought that it would be sad for the family not to be worried and to not make an effort to look for their son. Not wanting to ponder that feeling too long, she brought her thoughts back to the present as she heard Penny ask a question. "What happens now?" Penny inquired. "I mean, we're still up in the mountain, and we don't know how much further we have to go. Our food isn't going to last us forever." "I think we're making good time," John said. His words sounded encouraging, as if John's intentions were being manifested as planned. "The next step is to find a way to cross the river. But for right now, we should stay here 1, maybe 2 more days. Our bodies need the rest. I know we ache, and we could use a bath. With a bath and some good rest, we should regain our strength." "How much further do you think we have?" Liz asked. "From looking at the stars," John said, "and making a mental map, we should be at the 1/3 point. I think the river flows down from the side and swings back that way to the valley." "And what about the deer?" Penny asked. "They've started migrating," John said. "The buck you killed was probably one of the bigger of the herd. It's probably sent first to ensure the path is still safe, but I'm guessing, though that would be my best guess." "So when should we expect more?" Liz said. "I don't know," John answered, "but probably not right away, at least not all of them. They're going to send a few at a time until the winter cold really sets in and the herd needs food. Right now, the path has food for them to eat." "And they have to cross the river," Penny added. "Yes," John said. "So I want us to cross the river first, if at all possible. If the deer cross the river on foot, then we can too. but I'm not quite sure the best way, and I don't want to think about that right now. I'm just glad that two of you, Benji and Bessie, are all safe. That I'm glad we took this away, Penny said. I feel better knowing that the deer are using this path to cross the mountain. It means we are following the correct path, right? Yes, John said. We are on the right path. Well, we are on the path that the deer use. There may be other trails that we just don't know about. But for right now, we are on the right path. Good, Liz said. But that does not mean we are out of danger, John added quickly. We still need to be on alert, and we need Benji more than ever. He showed a lot of courage today, and his sense of smell is right on. We're going to need his sense of smell to work for us. If there's something out there, I hope he can smell it before it gets too close. He may also be able to help us catch some food. Benji is good at tracking, Penny added. Good, John said. You did the right thing by bringing him along. It was Benji that warned us that the deer were coming, Liz said, so we got off the path as quickly as we could. But I have to be honest, it felt good to take down that buck. I never had to shoot a deer because my life was in danger. The whole experience was surreal. You did great, John added, and you did the right thing. Thanks, Liz said. It looks like we really are a team, Penny said. Everyone here has an important part to play. To me, that feels great. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If this brought you peace, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and share it with someone who might need a little stillness too. Until next time, keep listening inward.